What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some Idle Heroes. I want to thank you guys so much for coming hang out with me today. If you liked the video, don't forget, smash that thumbs up button and show your support. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright guys, if I sound a little bit tired, it's because I just woke up, so that's a possibility. But we got some changes the other night, right after I shot my other video, which is going to be the faction, the Forest faction for 2019 stuff. Anyways, right after that, they dropped an update, kind of changed the game a little bit. So we're going to talk about that real fast. Like, we'll do a quick overview here, like boom, and read it, and then we'll talk about how does it actually change the game, and is it really going to be that big of a difference. So first up, the enable system has been adjusted. It's been changed. You can check it out in the enabling system. We'll do that. Just kind of, we'll get there. Adjusted the base attributes of all 10-star heroes. We're going to talk about that as well. I think they kind of missed the mark on it, but, we'll see how it plays out. I just don't think it was done right. Cthulhu got adjusted, so now he can actually detonate dots that are much bigger than before, which is just a quality of life change. Needed to happen for Cthulhu for a while, so not a bad deal. A couple of changes here to precision and block, which is a little strange. Precision now adds 0.3% damage, capped at 45%, so that's like 150% precision, by the way. For every point of precision that you have. So if you have 100% precision, you get a 30% damage increase according to this. Now, I'm not sure how this stacks into the overall damage calculation. I'm not going to go nerd out on numbers and try to figure it out because that just takes way too long anyways. But yes, essentially now 100% precision gives you an extra 30% damage. I don't know if this is just like calculated to the base damage you would do is now boosted by 30% because that could be pretty big. We'll see, of course, how it plays out in the end, but block has also been changed. Now, I think this might have been a nerf to block, because I do believe before, anytime you blocked, it was a 33% damage reduction. Didn't matter if it was from a basic attack or a crit attack, it was a 33% damage reduction, just boop, straight up. Now, it seems like block has been changed to be less effective. That's what I'm seeing here, is, your block's now only going to block 30%, so you lose about 3% there, but now when it blocks crit damage, you only block it by 20% instead of 33%. So I'm not really sure what spurred the nerf to block. That's what it seems like to me just on its face. Reading it is, block wasn't OP in my opinion at all, really. There wasn't enough units that actually utilized block for it to be a humongous OP thing anyways. So to nerf it doesn't make a lot of sense, and then to buff its counter precision. Again, you can buff precision, that's fine, but if you're going to buff precision, make block more useful, not less. I don't know. It's weird. This last thing here, I have no idea what the crap it even means. I've tried to figure it out. It just doesn't make sense. Apparently, they optimize an algorithm of enabling attributes. It says the enabling boost can be displayed normally in the hero attribute you defaced. I don't know. I guess maybe that's just the stats that have been changed are now visible. I don't know. It doesn't seem like necessary information because it doesn't really have any... I don't know where to check it out like straight up. So anyways, whatever. Those are the deals. We'll start out here at the 10-star level. Boop. Previously, the HPs of units was a little bit lower than it is now. Dominator had like 600,000 base health. He's now up to 800,000 base health. And this is my issue with the change to base attributes, is it only affects HP. And I think that's bad. I think it's bad in a couple of ways, because already in the game, with the addition of E3, most of your heroes that scale with HP have scaled much better than units that scale with attack. You don't see your attack-based units hitting nearly as hard based on HP percentages as they did back at 10-star, because the amount of health people get has jumped up dramatically compared to how much attack they're going to have. And this basic upgrade to all the 10-star units, while it did affect units, they got higher health now, what it didn't do is it did not scale any kind of attack change as well. So the attacks have been completely unchanged, and only the HP has been buffed. This essentially just makes people more meat shieldy, and it makes attack-based units slightly less effective, which I think is kind of a bad idea. I would have buffed them across the board. If you're going to buff somebody, don't just give HP boosts out, give HP and attack boosts out, something like that. Either way, right now, it looks like the discrepancy between HP and attack is going to grow a little larger for the current time. It's not really looking like a great thing, but it's a thing. That brings us to the enable changes. Now, I've already tested some of these changes out on my main account where I have 3 E3 units, but we're on the mini account now because I just kind of enjoy it. But anyways, my Horus here If you checked out the stats the other day when I did the Aspen Dungeon run, he had 3.4 something million HP. However, the enable systems have been changed. Boom. We'll look through them right now and we'll talk a little bit about them. So first up, the first enable you get when you jump into your very first enable E1 unit, you get a pick now between three things. There's your Vitality, which has always been there, 12% HP, or now Mightiness has been moved from rank 2 back to rank 1, and there's a new third one here called Growth, and essentially this gives you a little bit of HP, a little bit of attack, and 20 speed. What I would say this really does is not as much as you might think. It does change a little bit of things. It's one of the most impactful, I guess, changes, but it's not like this game-changing change. But for your crowd control units, once you get them to E1, they're going to be even faster than before, with a little bit of an HP and attack boost to go along with it, so it's not bad. It makes crowd control much easier. Obviously, this will be built primarily for PvP. In PvE situations, you really should never use this. You're better off taking Vitality or Mightiness, in my opinion, because the speed doesn't make a difference there. So definitely a PvP-based enable, but it's kind of nice to have something that adds speed, I guess, in the enabling system. Moving down to the new enables, we've got Shelter here, which decreases crit damage received by 15%. Not necessarily a bad thing, just a little bit of extra defense. And then the second one here, Lethal Fight Back. When you attack somebody with your active or normal attack, if the enemy has higher health than you do, you're going to deal an extra 12% damage of the damage that you dealt normally. That's how it reads to me. I don't think there's any special numbers hidden in there. It's just if you're going to do normally like 100,000 damage, now you'll do 112,000 damage. So it gives you a little bit of an attack boost against higher health units. This is primarily going to show its face in boss battles of all types, but you might see it be effective a little bit against Valkyrie-based teams. If you have people that really favor Valkyrie, they're always going to build her with the max amount of health. So if you can do extra damage to a unit with high health, this might play a little bit of a role in that and be a little bit helpful. And this brings us to what I would say is the least effective change of the update, and that would be the new Enable 3. Resilience is still there like always, but now we have Shared Fate. When a round ends, each surviving hero can increase self-attack by 1.2%, lasting for 1 round. Now, I don't have a full E3 team, so I couldn't test it in its entirety, but I do have 3 E3s in my main, and that's what I tested it on. And I ran this enabled Shared Fate on those 3 units to see what it actually did, and the results were massively underwhelming. It was kind of a joke. So essentially for Enable 3, if this doesn't get buffed, it is a useless slot that pretty much no one will use, at least in my experience. I ran it in a boss fight, so it's a 15-round fight, so I could see the maximum use of it, and over the course of 15 rounds, it boosted my damage output by about 10 million damage. And you'd say, well, that's a decent amount of damage. Not really. I mean, 10 million damage in a boss fight's kind of a joke. I mean, I went from doing 626 million and then changed it back to resilience to doing 616 million damage. So as you can see, the increase in damage dealt is minimal at best. It's not a huge game changer. This is a really, really weak enable right now, it seems. This needs to be buffed to an insane rate to ever be worth swapping resilience out for, because that extra tankiness resilience provides is just far and away more superior than the Shared Fate enable right now, especially since it only lasts for a single round. I mean, like, if you're going to make it that low, make it last for more rounds at least, so it can stack on itself or something, because right now, it's just not powerful at all, and it's one I would recommend that you don't take. It just doesn't seem very good. So of the changes that were made, I would say because the HP buffs have changed, it is, all the units' HP has been buffed. My Horus had 3.48 million, I think 3.48, 3.42, I don't know, 3.4 something million HP prior to the update. However, when the update dropped, it obviously had you set at the stat 1 enables for everything. So you'd had, this is what your normal lineup looks like when they swapped over. If you kept it this way, my Horus now has 4 million HP, so his HP jumped up by like 600,000. It's quite a bit more tanky for Horus, and in certain situations it's a nice thing, like the Aspen Dungeon, having more health, not a bad deal, it makes your resilience more powerful, but he did lose the attack. And if you swap back to say I want the attack and I don't want the HP, he's still got the HP buff from the stat changes overall. So he still has 3.6 million HP instead of 3.4 million. So because of the base boost to stats across the board, even if you don't take that Vitality enable as your enable 1 slot, your unit should still have more HP than they previously had, even if you take the mightiness and leave the enable off. So I think it's DH Games' way of like making people not super duper upset. They got to choose between HP and attack now, because you don't necessarily have to. You can make your HP way higher than before, or you can make your HP just a tiny bit higher than before, but keep your attack stat the same. Again, I wish there was more diversity here, because the devs really hyped this up like it's going to be a game-changing update, and I don't know if they've just left it really simple right now because they don't want to overflood with new information into the game all at once. That could be a strategy, because you don't necessarily want to overwhelm your players with a ton of new stuff all at one time, because it can make things confusing. But if this is their big in-game change to enable systems, it's a joke. Like, for serious, it's just, there's not enough there to make this at all game-changing. It's not going to change the meta. Valk's not all of a sudden no longer the queen of PvE because of these enables. It's a joke. They're not nearly in-depth enough to make that kind of a big of a change. They don't really add all that much. So, in my opinion, the biggest thing the update brought was probably this for your PvP teams for extra speed, and this for extra boss damage. Other than that, I mean, decreasing crit damage received, not a bad deal against high crit teams. That's not bad. You choose between HP and attack on your first passive now, which again, since you already got the extra HP boost from the 10-star passives, I mean, it's not going to change a huge amount unless you take the HP enable, and you'll have much higher health than before, which makes everybody overall more tanky, but doesn't really boost attack in any way, shape, or form. If you choose mightiness, you will have the exact same attack stats you had before the enable changes, and I think that was kind of a waste, a missed opportunity. Might as well make, I mean, like, why is HP scaling so much higher than attack scaling? If you're going to have units that can become super tanky now, you need people that can become super nuky as well. You know, counter out the super HP boost that's in the game right now. Not a thing, apparently. While this is nice, it's not game-changing. This will help boost your boss damage. This is a joke and laughable in every sense that I tested it. It just doesn't really do much for you. Now, of course, I don't have all 3 E3s tested out in its entirety, but it just, I mean, let's be honest, if you're running 6 E3 units with Shared Fate, you're going to get wrecked by a team that has 6 E3 units using Resilience, because they're going to be healing a huge amount of HP that your team will not be able to heal. So it's not really a strong enable, needs a lot of work to be actually useful, and hopefully, like, here's what I think is, hopefully over time they're going to add more enables, hopefully like a scroll bar up here and just extra enables all around, because right now, it's just not that big change that I was expecting. I mean, the way they hyped it up, it was going to be the change to the game. It's going to be everything is different now. And in my experience so far, really nothing's that different. Like, it's just not that big of a deal. That's just kind of my look at it. So precision and such, we already looked at that a little bit. But one thing this update did do is it made a humongous difference between 9-star and 10-star units, because no units were buffed prior to 10-star. So if you've got a 9-star, like in this case, when I get my Aspen, when I get this guy to 9-star, he'll probably have a little bit over 1 million health in total with all of his gear buffs and all of his stuff on. However, when you take this guy to 10-star, he's going to get a huge boost, because previously his HP was like a little over 500,000, I believe. His base HP goes up to 700,000. So your upgrade from 9-star to 10-star now is going to be a massive upgrade for the HP of your unit. It's going to be huge. The damage won't change all that much. I mean, it'll change, obviously, some. Still going to be a pretty big upgrade. But since your attack no longer gets this huge scale up with HP, you're going to get a lot more meaty units and a lot less bursty units later in the game. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I really wish when they adjusted base stats, they would have adjusted attack with it, because it's already outscaled. Like, when you look at E3 units, there's a reason Valkyrie's really, really powerful right now. It's because HP scales far better with level ups, and she's got a higher base HP now as well. She has like 7.2 million health now after the update, instead of 6.3, so a huge upgrade to her HP. But you see the units that base their damage and health, like Valkyrie, the only one really right now, they have a huge advantage over units that base their damage and attack, because she can drop huge damage on a lot of people, and you see it in every battle that you go into. But attack-based units, they got no love in the update at all. So if your unit's predicated on doing all of its damage based on attack, it didn't get a buff. It actually kind of got nerfed, because it now has more HP that it has to fight through than it did before. So I really wish they would have done more of a proactive change to everything than just bumping HP across the board and calling it a change. I feel like that was really lazy. And the enable system changes, while they were advertised as this huge game-changing change that's going to make the whole world a different place, it really didn't accomplish that at all. It just made your units have more HP with the either way more HP or the same amount of attack you had before, or you're a little bit faster than you previously were. Nothing massive game-changing about it, and I think it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a weak sauce update. I expected more out of it. So, like I said, the only big changes that really is going to affect your gameplay, in my opinion, is things like boss fights, like in Broken Spaces. If you have a lot of E3 units running that extra damage versus higher health enemies, you're going to hit harder because you get an extra 12% damage essentially on every attack that you do, and that's not bad. It boosts your damage output, not a bad deal. But in most cases, like in PvP, it might help you deal with Valkyries a little bit more, and Valkyrie will have slightly more difficulty killing enemies in one shot with her heavy HP burst damage because everybody has more HP now. But again, all it really accomplished was it made tanky units more tanky, and it made attack-based units just more tanky. So it's kind of a nerf to attack across the board, which I really don't like. And the weird thing is, they buffed precision, but like, there's not a lot of precision-based units in the game. I mean, you have things like Edga, who use precision, but let's be honest. Nobody uses Edga. Not a single person. There are very few units in the game, actually, that actually have precision, an innate precision passive. There's not a lot of it out there. Because of that, you don't see a huge amount of damage buff. Now, some units, like Sigmund, which you'd be like, that's kind of weird. Sigmund does have a natural precision stat, which is not bad. If you look at a 10-star Sigmund, oop, I clicked on it. I mean, it's an extra 30% precision. So essentially, according to the new update, he gets what? 9% boost to damage? Not bad, but since almost no heroes in the game utilize precision at all, the only place you're really going to get precision from is either A, their tech, which is going to be a small precision boost, or you're going to get it from artifacts. Other than that, you're not really going to get precision. May make my Heavenly Bead finally useful. I don't have one on this account, but the Heavenly Bead on my other account. It gives precision. But like I said, the only place you really get precision is in artifacts. Wow, there's a lot of artifacts now, isn't there? Where is the old, there it is, the Heavenly Bead, 12% precision. The only other really place you get a lot of precision is the Antlers Cane, and you get 70% precision from it. So that just got a huge buff, the Antlers Cane did. It went from being a pretty solid artifact to being a really solid artifact overnight. But like I said, there's not enough units in the game that actually utilize precision. It may make the precision stone a stronger stone. I haven't messed around with that much because, like, honestly, no one does. But we'll see down the road if it actually makes a big difference and it's worth running precision-based stones on units for extra damage. I don't know, I just wish they would have buffed attack more. That's kind of my big gripe with the update. Just, it's too much HP. You get too tanky with not enough damage, and it just makes battles last longer. And it's like, why not just, I don't know, bring the balance back together? Bring the yin and yang together. But whatever. That's the new update pretty much that I can see. Not a massive game changer like it was advertised. It's not going to make the meta entirely different. You're not going to be like, oh, everybody throw your Valks away now. She's no longer good. Because it didn't even touch that at all. In fact, it made Valkyrie a little bit stronger, I would say. At least way more strong like in the Aspen Dungeon and such because of her higher health. In terms of PvP, I'm not sure if it made her any stronger. Simply because now everybody has more health, so her big nuky damage has more health to rip through. So it kind of balances out there, I guess. I just wish attack would have got a little more love in the update, because it really didn't. But anyways, that's going to be it for this. Just kind of an update on the new changes to the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please make sure smash that thumbs up button and show your support if you haven't already. Don't forget to subscribe as well and tell your friends about it, because that definitely helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next one.